And welcome to Understanding Photography with Kim Ayres, episode 223. Sorry, one sec. I just... Yes, sorry, I have my tablet on. I left the sound on. Yes, quick warning. I will warn you again in a moment. This could cut out at any time. I've been having a few problems with my computer. If we survive the next couple of minutes, I'll tell you more about it. Meanwhile, if you happen to be live, if you're watching live, then leave a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know what the weather's doing. Let me know what you did for Christmas or any other holiday you happen to be celebrating. And we'll make a start. Yeah, okay, well, let's get on with that then. So, yes, welcome to Understanding Photography with Kim Ayres. Yes, we happen to be live right at the moment, and this might be proved to be a slight downfall in a moment. I've been having a few problems the last couple of days with the computer just suddenly cutting out. I've been Googling, I've been trying to do things and bits and pieces, and I don't know quite what's wrong with it. And I'm not going to be able to solve it in the next couple of minutes. So if this happens to cut out on us, stick with me for 5 minutes. I might have to restart the computer and hopefully reconnect. If it doesn't look like it's going to work properly, I will try and leave a comment. This is why I've got my tablet down here at the moment, is so that hopefully I can join in and leave a comment and say, you know, okay, it's not working. And maybe, hopefully, I've got it all sorted by next week. So, yes, technicals, always getting in the way. If you happen to be watching the recording, hopefully that this worked, you can also leave a comment. Who knows? Anyway, okay, I can see we've got a couple of comments in already. So let's start with that. So Nadia joins us and says, "Hi everyone from a very windy Fife. Hope you all had a lovely holiday time." April joins us from a mild and cloudy day in Long Island, New York. Susan says, "Hi everyone. I hope you all had a fabulous Christmas. It's grey and damp in Kheer, but I've got my hot chocolate." Always a good idea to have your hot chocolate. Hey, Adrian comes back from an overcast Lincolnshire. Okay, good morning, good afternoons to various people, and I guess chat's going back and forth. Viji says good evening from Chennai. Pleasant weather in India at the moment, or that part of southern India anyway. And Adrian says, yeah, quiet Christmas. Went up to Yorkshire last weekend. John's joined us from a wet and warm and wet Ohio. Becca's just joined us as well from up in Ayrshire, I guess, unless you've gone trotting off elsewhere. Right, okay, so we have people in, and today we're going to be talking about the seasonal food challenge. Not a huge amount of entries into it, but I'm kind of guessing it's kind of this time of year. I gave loads of ideas. I really thought, hey, there's so many different ways you can do this, but essentially the feedback I've been getting from everybody is, I didn't really have time. Here's something I grabbed quickly from my archives, or I didn't have time from my archives. Here's something I took a quick snap while I was passing a shop. So I guess really trying to do a challenge specifically this time of year might have been a bit tricky for many of you. Oh, Meg's joined us, says hello everyone as well. Right, so I'll do a quick start with the Smug Points update. This is the last Smug Points opportunity for 2024. Next week, of course, we're into a new year. Next week as well will be the best of 2024. So start thinking, for this one, you don't have to do a fresh photo. You can go and rummage through your archives and look for your best photo of 2024. So I'll talk a little bit more about that afterwards. So do stick around for that. But in terms of Smug Points, for December, currently all holding equal place at 60 points are April, Nadia and Viji. And 40 points we've got Megan, Robert and Susan and Marilyn are both on 35. So a real kind of neck and neck here. So everything's going to depend on who turns up, leaves a comment, let me know they're here and how well they do in the Smug Point, well, who I award leading Smug Points to, or whether you actually submitted an image, is going to make a difference as to who wins December. It really is neck and neck. And as for 2024, at the moment, until we add on whoever wins today, Viji's out there ahead at 695, which means basically unassailable. No matter who wins today, I think Viji's won the 2024 Smug Points. April, second place was 600, Robert at 590. So that's our kind of top 3, but I'll probably do a more official announcement next week once I've actually done the final totting up on that. Right, okay, so where are we at? I suppose let's make a start. So yes, the idea of the seasonal food challenge. There's well, this is a holiday season. It's Christmas, it's Hanukkah, it's all sorts of different festivals. I think somebody said there's something like about 30 different kinds of festivals across December and into the beginning of January, depending on which religion you have to be in. So, and virtually every festival comes attached to some kind of food. So the idea of a sort of seasonal food challenge felt like a very good idea. We talked about it kind of in depth a few weeks ago. You can go back and look at, was it episode 220 or 219? You know, double check where there's plenty of ideas there for if you fancy. But hopefully some of the ideas that you see today might give you a few bits of inspiration to try out yourself as well, because ultimately that's part of what these challenges are about. When we do these challenges, the idea of the challenge is, first of all, it's a challenge. It's a chance to give you an idea, having a go at photographing something that maybe you've not done before, or maybe you haven't thought about doing before. The other part of it is by showing everybody what the way you approach the challenge, then it can inspire other people to go ahead and go, oh, I hadn't thought of that, or I could give a go at that. Either, you know, I think I could do that better, or maybe I could do that more interestingly, or maybe I could do it becomes an inspiration. Maybe I could do it in just an entirely different way, but it's given me some ideas. So that's the wonder of the challenges. So what we're going to do then is we will make a start. We will make a start with, if I can just find my folder, April. Now, if I double click that, and swap over, and so far we still seem to all be here in one go. Their computer's slowly heating up. I am absolutely dreading this idea that I might just lose everything at any moment. Anyway, well, let's see how we get on. So, yes, here we are. April. April sent in this one. This is a start for our seasonal food challenge. April says, happy holidays all. I did not have time to commit to a real good seasonal food photo, but a quick opportunity at best. Well, hey, that's, you know, if you can't do anything else, whip out your phone and take a photo of something. While at a cookie exchange party, I had a cookie exchange party. I don't think I've ever been to a cookie exchange party. Is that a particular American thing? Is it a particular April's family thing? Does everybody just turn up with cookies and then you swap them about? It sounds like a really fun kind of party to me. So while at a cookie exchange party, I had the opportunity to take a close-up of some cookies, including these snowball-looking cookies, and that fits the season. So yeah, lovely idea. Absolutely make the most of. It doesn't matter, you know, it's great if you have time to set up things and what have you, but also that opportunistic, that notion I was talking before about, there's almost kind of 3 different kinds of photography. You have your scavenger, which is like you see something, you grab it, you just go for it, and there's no real planning. There's the hunter, you've got an idea, you keep trying to track it down, and then you've got your farmer, which is planning in advance, getting everything into the right place, setting it all up. Might be weeks or months in the planning in order to get there. But that kind of opportunist bit is the way most of us tend to do an awful lot of our photography. Absolutely nothing wrong in that. April says, what have we got here? So yeah, Becca says, love the idea of a cookie exchange party. And Viji says, I spy jam. And April says, it is known here in the US, but you're right about how it works. Okay, cool. Okay, so thank you for sending that one in, April. Yeah, nice bit of fun that. It is. It's a lovely idea, cookie exchange party. Right, okay, next up then, we are going to go for Becca. And Becca sent in this one, says, entry for the seasonal food challenge. Afraid I didn't have time for a proper shot, so this is just a quick snap of spiced biscuits. So Becca taking essentially the same approach as April. Not time for a full-on shot, but didn't want to miss out. And for that, I appreciate it. You get your extra 10 smug points for entering an image. So well done there. She goes on to say, yeah, a quick snap of the spiced biscuits I make every year. I make them into stars and suns with a cookie cutter and the base of a shot glass pressed into the rounds. So you've got a shot glass and So has that got like a star shape into it? I'm just sort of looking here into the... so is that into these rounds, and you kind of press the base of it into the cookie? Is that how it works? Tell me in the comments there. So yeah, no, that's again a nice cup of tea there as well. It has that nice, it has that good sort of sense of, yeah, you can imagine that. You just glance down, there you go, you've got your spiced biscuits and your cup of tea, and it's just perfect, really, isn't it? Nice little bit of wooden table there as well, very textural. I can kind of smell this. So nice one there, Becca. Thanks for sending that one in. What have we got here? I'll just minimise that, see if I can read it from there. Yes. Adrian says, instead of bring a bottle, bring a cookie. Yes, I guess that's probably what it is. And Adrian's criticising your tea, Becca. Says, sorry, looks a little bit weak. I suppose you need to leave the tea bag in there a bit longer. Or, some would say, you leave the tea bag in there to get the right strength before you add the milk. Controversy. I remember once reading something about somebody saying, how could you tell if somebody was genuinely British or faking it? And the answer was, ask them whether you put the milk in before or after the tea. And then whatever they say the opposite and see how they react. Because if they weren't truly British, they would probably go, oh, sorry, and agree with you. Whereas anybody who's British is going to just argue their point entirely about whether you put the milk in first or not. And the debate will go on forever. Right, where are we going for this? Becca says, yes, the shot glass has pointed shapes on the base. Right, okay, so that's what's giving you the indents. Perfect. Susan says, some things are really worth bringing across the pond. Cookie exchange is one of those. Becca says, I'm a baby tea gal, Adrian. Sorry, but as you can see, the tea bag is left in to steep. Adrian says, I remember my gran had some glasses collected with green shield stamps, I think. Green shield stamps. My goodness, that takes me back. Which had a star pattern on the bottom, on the bottom outside rim. And Adrian reckons if you're brewing in a mug, you brew first and then tea bag out. If it's teapot, then milk in the cup first. Viji says you should taste our chai. Becca says milk in first if it's fine china and tea is being poured from a teapot, milk in after if it's being made in a mug. Okay, Adrian and Becca both seem to agree on the difference. It depends on whether you're drinking out of a mug or whether you're doing the teapot thing. Interesting. Okay, cool. Right, so, yes, cookies, cups of tea. Let's move on. Next up then, we will go to Janet. And Janet says, I've attached my submission for the seasonal food challenge. These gingerbread men were shot through the window of a local bakery. Well, sounds like another quick grab of, we need a food photo. Oh, there's a bakery. Quick, out with the phone. Or camera if it was around your shoulder. But no, I think that's fun. Yes, gingerbread cookies. Or gingerbread men shot through the window. That's fast thinking, that is. Yes, nice and bright and colourful and opportunistic. Nicely done. What's that? Viji says we boil milk and tea leaves with cinnamon. Well, there you go. There's your chai then. Adrian says, love this one. Gingerbread men. Viji says, wow. Becca says, Viji, I love the authentic chai. April says, I love gingerbread cookies. And Nadia says, love the colours. Yeah, nice, bright and colourful. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Thank you very much for sending that one in, Janet. So next up, we will go to Marilyn, I think. And now, this one really looks festive. I think, and what makes it look extra festive, I think, is the lights in the background, that kind of soft bouquet of little kind of twinkly lights. Marilyn says, after taking multiple shots with different compositions, I decided to take the attached macro photo of treats. I decided to like this macro version of the treats the best. The biggest challenge was keeping my family from eating the subject before I finished. Thanks for a fun and inspirational challenge. Yeah, I think that's definitely a problem. If you happen to be kind of cooking, you've got food in the house and you have other family members in the house, then trying to do food in any kind of still life photography is potentially quite a dodgy thing. If you've got hands diving in or people just sort of saying, hurry up, Mum, I need to get the food, you know. So yes, lots of them. But I do like this one, Marilyn. I think that, you know, it's we've got the mince pie. We've got is that like a now? Is that like a? It looks more like a kind of baked tart, I think, with the cherry on the top, or is that just a particular kind of mince pie? So yes, thank you for sending that one in, Marilyn. Nice and Christmassy, that for sure. A couple more comments here. And where were we? Right, Becca says, very Christmassy. Oh, yes, that was for the gingerbread man. Janet says, thanks. Meg says, that's absolutely amazing. Viji goes, whoa, too good. April says, that does look good. Becca says, action shot. Be with the fork there and the half-opened mince pie. Susan says, good enough to eat, Marilyn. Very festive. Adrian also wondered whether that was a baked or tart. Viji says, are tart and pie the same? Well, generally speaking, a pie tends to have a covering and a tart tends to be open. But a baked tart, now, proper baked tart doesn't have a kind of pastry covering or anything, but you do get these little Mr. Kipling's baked tarts where they've got like an icing on them. Suddenly I'm feeling really uncertain ground here. I feel like I ought to be asking my wife, which ones are the baked tarts, which ones are real? But generally speaking, yes, generally speaking, baked tarts aside, a tart is open, a pie has a pastry covering of some kind, usually pastry, not always. Okay. April says mince pie is less common in the US. Seems much more popular in the UK. Oh, absolutely. A mince pie is absolutely. I mean, Christmas isn't Christmas without a mince pie. So yes, that the rich cinnamony fruit, spiced fruit in a little pie case, mince pie, absolutely essential part of Christmas, I think. You leave them out for Santa on Christmas Eve, along with a glass of milk, or a shot of whiskey, depending on the household you're in. Viji says the cross-covering pie, the cross-covering in pie I have seen. And Janet says, I always think of a tart at smaller individual size than a pie. Adrian says, and a carrot for Rudolph. Yes, of course, a carrot for Rudolph. Rudolph gets all the carrots. No, none of the other reindeer get any. Hopefully he shares them out, despite them all calling him names. April says, we always leave chocolate chip cookies. Chocolate chip cookies for Santa, or mince pies. Clearly a cultural thing going on here. Right, okay. So just a quick little reminder here that if you find these podcasts useful, entertaining, interesting, you would like to support them, then buymeacoffee.com/Kim Ayres is one of the ways you can do it. And of course, don't forget to invite your friends as well. On top of that, just, quick little reminder here, a bunch of other kind of social media bits from, YouTube you already know because you're watching this. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, other places you can find me as well. And the blog too. Right, okay. Where are we at? Let's move on now to Meg. Now, Meg was having a bit of fun with macro photography of using her phone of Mince, not in Mince, it was Christmas pudding. So they're actually making Christmas pudding. So Meg says, this is my entry for the seasonal food challenge for the podcast with the gluten-free Christmas pudding from Loch Arthur, which is a farm shop she works in 2 days a week. So Loch Arthur, amazing place. But they also have a cafe, they have a farm shop, and so making the Christmas pudding. And Meg, while they were making the Christmas pudding, Meg had the foresight to whip out her phone and take an image of that rich fruit pudding as it's being mixed up. And it's so unctuous, really, isn't it? I mean, this is one where you can really, if you like Christmas pudding, you can smell it. You can smell all the kind of spices and everything that's gone into it. And this is a gluten-free one as well, because Meg's celiac, so that means she has to avoid gluten. So anything that's gluten-free is an added bonus time. So yeah, a nice one that, Meg. I really like it. I think that this kind of, and that's one of the things about food photography, I think, where if you really want to get a sense of food, like where you almost essentially feel like you're face planting into it, where you're getting that real sense of the texture, the taste, the smell. This is where macro photography is at its best, getting close up with your food for your food photography. Sometimes you're doing a kind of still life presentation that's about how it looks and how it's interacting with other things. Sometimes you're doing the way people are interacting with the food, whether they're about to take a bite or have just taken a bite, or are holding it, or sitting around a table. Different ways of doing it. But if you really want to get that full kind of sensual sensory pleasure out of a photograph, I think it's getting close. That's the point whereby you start to feel the mouth watering. So nice one there, Meg. Thanks very much for sending that one in. We have more comments here. April says, nice one, Meg. Adrian says, cool. Nadia says, nice, Meg. Susan says, lovely, Meg. Loch Arthur pudding is fabulous. Becca says, oh, love the Loch Arthur shop. That bread with the honey and sunflower topping is amazing. Viji says, waiting for you to open your cafe with all your own lovely baked, gluten-free baked dishes. I remember COVID meddled with your dreams. Hope the new year brings your dreams true. Right, okay, so thank you very much, Meg. And next up then, we will go to sorry, I've suddenly lost, Nadia. So, yes, Nadia sent in this one. It says, my submission for the festive food challenge. The inspiration was after wrapping the gifts. It was a time for a well-earned mince pie and some hot chocolate. The only things done was a little dodging on the table, cups and pies, then burning the grey spot above the cup and the light spot at the back of the bike. Then off to finish with a slight vignette. So excellent. So Nadia, this is a very, very Christmassy photo. This really does have we've got all that we can see. Nice bouquet, out of focus, but we can still make out the tree in the background with all the lights. We can make out the presents with the wrapping. We can make out the bike. So somebody's managed to get a bike under the tree for Christmas. Fantastic. And then right in the foreground, sitting on a stool, we have the mince pies. And we have the hot chocolate with the cream and the little chocolate sprinkles coming out the top. Looks like a homemade I know some people that actually have things which you can print out and sort of essentially create your own mugs. Other times you can send off an image to one of these places online and get a mug printed. This has one of those looks to it. So is this one of the children, grandchildren, something like that, who's maybe designed a mug for you? Quite a fun one too. So yes, I mean, I think as Christmas pictures go, this is about as Christmassy as you get, really. It's the full-on sense of it. So lovely shot there, Nadia. Nice, very nicely done indeed. Viji says, beautiful shot. Meg says, thank you to means a lot to me, and also thank you for all your lovely comments. Becca says, oh, very atmospheric. Adrian says, love this shot. Susan says, great arrangement, Nadia. Love the background. And April says, a nice still life shot. Right, so far, the computer hasn't crashed and died on us yet. Who knows whether I'm not really thinking it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. Whether I say it or not, I don't really truly believe in jinxing, but boom. Right, okay, let's move on then to Sandra. Now, Sandra has been having a little go with a bit of still life here as well, also playing with a bit of bouquet. And here we have, what have we got? We've got a chocolate truffle, chocolate reindeer, chocolate penguin, as well as a Santa sitting on a chocolate, couple of chocolates there. That's fun. This is fun. So Sandra says, I've had to raid the back catalogue for this challenge. This Christmas still life was taken back in 2021. I used a white shiny scarf to cover a piece of black card and a blanket box. Then I place some miniature Christmas trees on it, and behind it I put some white fairy lights. I then put festive chocolates in the foreground. I open the aperture to f2.8 to blur the background and bring out the bokeh of the fairy lights. And so yes, this is, although I can't help but wonder, while I can see the bokeh of the fairy lights, we do have extra little kind of stars here. Are they part of the lights? They've got a look of an effect added afterwards. Very beautiful, not knocking it either way. It's just, this is my editor's hat kicking in. It's kind of got, oh, wrong one, come back to that. It's got that look of, these stars have a kind of like, an effect you add afterwards. But it works really well. It does add to that kind of full-on Christmassy theme. So nicely done there, Sandra. Where are we? So, Viji. All right, still talking about Nadia's shot. Viji says, too good, the clarity, and I craved to have the mug of hot chocolate. Beautiful shot. And Nadia says, my grandson school does this every year at this time. Thank you to everyone. Viji's saying, pardon my typos, having dinner at the same time. April says, this is that's nice of the school, Nadia. So on to Sandra's. Viji says, magical, Sandra. April says, very creative, Sandra. Susan says, can't go wrong with chocolate, Sandra. I love the added sparkles. Adrian said, not a negative, but I also think the stars are post-processing. Becca says, nice little Christmas scene with trees in the back. Nadia says, oh, that looks nice. And Adrian also says, love it, by the way. Excellent. Right. Okay, so where are we at? I think it's going to be a slightly shorter one. This is probably just as well. Still waiting for this computer to crash on me. So where are we? So next up then we go to Susan, which you caught just a quick glimpse of there when I pressed the wrong bit. So here is Susan's still life. Susan says, Kim, attached is my submission for the seasonal food challenge. I took this in my hall with natural light from the front door and additional light from a table lamp. I made and decorated the Christmas cake on the left, but bought the mince pies and shortbread. I wanted to keep a Christmassy theme with mainly red and white colours, with a bit of pale brown thrown in for the mince pies and shortbread to match the face of Mother Claus. Needless to say, it has my usual hot chocolate and marshmallows. F9, 100th of a second, ISO 1250. On further examination, I think there's a bit too much dead space top right. Feel free to comment. So really nice kind of still life here. Again, gone for all the bits that you think of that. So we've got the Christmas cake, we've got a Christmas cracker sitting on top of the Christmas cake along with a Christmas card, got mince pies opened up so we can see the mincemeat inside. I've got the, well, not Father Christmas, Mother Christmas, as you say, hot chocolate, shortbread, marshmallows. We've got the lot. As you say, there's a large kind of space up on the top here, but I did see what you did on Facebook with this one, Susan, where actually what you did was, I think you brightened the whole thing a little bit, just boosted it, did a slight yellow shift, and then into the space, put a big Merry Christmas. And I think that's, to be honest, I think that worked better with this one. And it really had much more the feel of a Christmas card in its own right. It's less noticeable at the moment because, as you look at this, because my picture is sitting here in the top left corner, taking out some of that bit. But yes, I think you're right. There's probably a little bit too much space up there, except for the fact that if it's designed for the idea that that's where the Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas is going to go, then job done. And I think, you know, you do. And it is always worth understanding where the picture is going to be used, how the picture is going to be used. And if you are going to use a picture that is going to have writing on it, then you need to design it such that it has a space for the writing. There have been a few times, for example, when I've created images which I knew either were going to or had a good chance of being on the cover of a magazine, in which case you need to understand that there's going to be writing around the edges, and that if you have the picture spread out too much and you don't leave space for that, the picture won't end up getting used because it needs to have the writing without too much going on underneath the writing that's going to interfere with the words being read. So that combination of picture and writing is really important. I mean, if for example you look at just quite simply the Christmas card behind where it says wishing you a Merry Christmas, if you took out that wishing you a Merry Christmas, that picture of the baubles and the pine tree wouldn't quite look right. It would feel a little bit unbalanced, but it's got the perfect space there to just put the writing in. So yes, I think you're right really, Susan, with this one. It's more designed like a Christmas card with a space for the writing. So thank you for sending that one in. Excellent. What have we got here? Viji says marshmallows, such a beautiful arrangement and captured very well. Nadia says, Susan, this is very lovely and very festive. April says, looks yummy. Viji's asking, is that shortbreads? Becca says, rich, or what is shortbreads? Well, it's actually said shortbread as in like one word rather than shortbreads. It's shortbread. And it's a biscuit, basically, a kind of cookie. Becca says rich butter sugary biscuits. Viji, yes, they tend to be nice and buttery, the good ones. April says the cookies on the right, Viji, is not actually a bread. We have them too. Becca says very festive shot. Susan also says it's a traditional Scottish biscuit. Viji says looks delectable. Meg says I really love the diagonals on the Christmas cracker. Adrian says, Kim, curiosity, if you're aiming for a particular publication where the main logo is in a certain place, do you modify the composition to make it better for that publication? And the simple answer is yes. Understanding how a picture is going to be placed, you need to think about the arrangement, the composition, the amount of space you leave for it. Generally speaking, what you want to do, if you're going to make life easier for the publication, allow more, rather than cutting it to designing it to absolute perfection, make it slightly bigger so that they've got room to crop it and shuffle it sideways, left and up and down a bit, left and right a bit, so that they can actually fit in where it needs to go. Certainly if a publication, for example, tends to have the full picture across the whole thing and then they've got their logo across the top, obviously you don't want to have somebody's face right at the top because then the logo is going to go across the face. So you need to have a space enough where the logo is going to go. Sometimes it has little bits of writing down the side, or there might be a key piece of writing across the bottom. So yes, very much, if you are going to be designing a cover for a particular magazine, then take a look at all the previous 12 months worth of covers. Bear in mind that magazines will also change their design for covers, but take a look at the most recent ones, see how they're laid out, try and lay out your image so that it gives them enough room and give them a little bit extra. Another thing to remember with anything that's going to print is there's what's known as a bleed. So essentially, if you are printing something and when these things are then cut into magazine shape or cut into postcards or cut into posters or cut into flyers, almost everything, they tend to need a 3mm bleed. So understand that up to 3mm from the edge of every photo could disappear. And if you don't understand that, if you've designed the picture to go right to the edge, then suddenly a chunk of the picture can disappear. So you need to be careful of that. Sorry, I just had something fly up here on... What's that doing? Right, okay. Oh, I've got a little thing that's supposed to be monitoring temperature and use of the computer up on the same time. Little thing flashing up lights, scaring the life out of me. So yes, basically think about the design, but also give a little bit of extra so that the graphic design team who are organising, who are creating where the picture is going to go, have got a little bit of wiggle room as well. Hope that helps, Adrian. Right, what else have we got? Yes, Viji says shortbread, then yes, all one word, that's right. Yes, okay, Susan agrees. Cool, right, okay, so Viji, actually, we will now move on to your image, which is the final image of the submissions today, and then I will tell you all about next week, so do stick around because next week is, I think, one of the best of the year. It's sort of one of my favourite in a lot of ways. So this is Viji. Now Viji says, hope you all had a great Christmas. Here's my submission for the seasonal food photo challenge. This photograph was taken for Kheer and is India's most popular delicacy. Rice is a popular dish throughout India and the staple food of the states surrounding the coastline. In the northern part, wheat is the staple food, yet this one dish is popular throughout India. So this is Kheer. Now, I might be pronouncing it slightly wrong, but I will do my best. Kheer, I think it's Kheer, is a popular dessert made for all festivals and served during the main course. Kheer is made from milk, rice, sugar, saffron, cardamom, nutmeg powder, and a strand of mace. So kind of a little bit like a rice pudding in some ways, I think. Obviously a bit more delicate and nuanced than that. The rice is boiled along with the milk in a low flame and slow cooking mode until it becomes creamy and a rich golden colour resulting from the infusion of saffron. Later we garnish it with thinly sliced pistachio, badam and cashew. Now the vessel that contains the kheer is called an uruli. Uruli, yes. The bowl is made of bronze. This bronze vessel has been passed on to me by my grandmother. And in fact, actually, Viji did send another quick photo of the uruli. The bronze bowl, which is, so that was her grandmother's bowl and now contains it. And so this is a lovely shot, I think, looking straight down from above. Really it's that kind of getting in close. You can kind of smell, taste. You're just kind of wanting to maybe dip your finger straight into it. Or get your spoon ready. And oh, not grandmother, great grandmother. Yes, sorry, Viji just saw that. So how wonderful is that? The idea that you've got a bowl for this that just gets passed down the generations, fantastic. So beautiful shot there, love that one. Thank you very much for sending that in, Viji, and thank you for telling us more about the kind of the culture and the history and also the ingredients as well. So that was great, thank you very much. And thank you now to everybody who sent in the images. Hopefully it's given everybody a little bit of an idea. I became very aware of the fact that actually it's all very well doing a seasonal food photography challenge, but then everybody's so caught up with the season and doing everything else that there maybe wasn't enough time to really get in and do things. So several of the shots are taken on the run, but then other people have actually taken a little bit of time to do still life, and I think we've got quite a nice selection of images in the end, all of them certainly mouth-watering. Where are we? So April says, oh, looks healthy to eat. Susan says, you've done it again, Viji, that looks lovely. Nadia says, oh, that looks really yummy. Becca says, oh, I love that little pot it's in, and the saffron adds a lovely colour. Viji's reminding me it was great grandmother, not grandmother. And Becca says, it looks like a beautiful heirloom and still lovely to still use it. Viji says, thank you to all. Adrian says, strange how the imagined bowl shape is different to the actual bowl. Again, observation, not only the negative. April says, yes, Kim, so true. Adrian says, yes, because he thought it was, when you're only looking at the picture from above, he thought it was sort of vertical and had straight sides. And then we kind of look at it from the side and you notice that it all curves under and it's quite a different shape. John says, all these photos have made me hungry. Yeah, absolutely. Time to go and get a mince pie after this. Viji says, I get what you're saying. That's why I added the profile shot. Cool. Right. Okay. Excellent. So thank you. Yes, thank you to everybody for sending in the images. Really inspirational. And as you say, hunger pang inducing, I think, as well. So everybody who sent in an image gets an extra 10 smug points. Everybody who's left a comment and said hello or made some kind of comment or whatever, let me know you're here watching live, gets a bonus 5 smug points. And now I have to choose my top 3. Not necessarily an easy thing to do. But what I've decided in the end, let me see if I can just find, what did I go for? I think I decided in the end that Nadia would take first place for this. I think this kind of, in a way, has the full seasonal food image that I was hoping for. So we have, the hot chocolate and the mince pies, but we've also got the bouquet of the lights. There's the Christmas tree up, there's the presents under the tree, that warm yellow light just coming down. It's cozy. And so it kind of contains all the elements that I was thinking of, really, when it comes to a nice kind of seasonal food, cozy, Christmassy kind of food picture. So extra bonus 30 points there to Nadia for that. Second up, though, I do have to say, oh, not that one. I didn't mean to do that at all. So why it's opening Photoshop, I don't know. Let's close window. That wasn't what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do, was to bring up Viji's picture. So Viji, then, I think this is lovely, and I really appreciate all the background to this as well. So Viji is getting the bonus 20 smug points for this one. My third picture, I think, for the bonus 10, I think is going to go to Meg, because I mean, yes, this is just, you can smell it, you can taste it as just kind of, you know, you just almost want to sink your teeth into it or scoop a lump out of it before it gets made into anything. That, like I said, that really close up kind of unctuous sense there. So bonus 10 points there to Meg. And what I will also do, though, is I think Marilyn's one, where, you know, we've actually got the fork in and the crumbs, and also a nice bit of festive light in the background. Marilyn will get a commended bonus 5 points there. So thank you to everyone there for putting your images in. So next week we are going to go to next week is the best of 2024. Okay, so as we start 2025, we've done this tradition now for the last 4 years. I want you to send me your best photo of 2024. Now, best here has optional ways of interpreting. You might decide it's the best photo because it's the one that's achieved the most accolades. Maybe you won a prize with it, or you scored highly on the social media sites. So a photo that you took sometime between January the 1st and tomorrow or the day after, what's your best photo? Is it the one that's achieved the most accolades? Maybe it's one, it's not about official accolades, maybe it's one that all your friends turned around and gave you the most positive response to. Or maybe it's one that you feel particularly pleased with yourself. Perhaps, I mean, I've got photos which, you know, in terms of accolades, maybe, you know, were not great. A few friends said, yes, that was nice. But I've got photos that I took where I really had to overcome something to create it. It was particularly difficult. I had to learn something new in the process, or it was particularly challenging to get. And those photos, while they might not necessarily be the most amazing where everybody else is looking at them, they're the ones where you feel the greatest sense of achievement. Okay, so when I talk about your best photo of 2024, maybe it's because it got the accolades, maybe it's because you felt that you overcame something, you learned something in the process, or maybe it has a special sentimental value. Maybe you took a photo of something which has particular meaning for you for whatever that reason might be. So your best of 2024, what is your best of 2024? Send it in, put it into the Facebook group, or email it to me, Kim at up here somewhere, wherever it is, kimayres.co.uk. So Kim at kimayres.co.uk. Either email it to there or put it into the Understanding Photography with Kim Ayres Facebook group, and let me know, give me the story behind the picture. Tell me why it is your best of 2024. And I love this one. And we've been doing it for, like I say, well, since the podcast began at the beginning of the year. And everybody's got a different idea on why. You know, there's the picture, and the pictures are always inspiring and interesting and great. And then there's a story which goes behind the picture. So tell us a little bit about your image as well. And we will have a full celebration of this podcast, of you, the people who watch and interact with these podcasts, and I think this is one of the most celebratory parts of our year with Understanding Photography. So really look forward to what you're going to send in for that. Right, last few comments. What have we got? Let me just close those little pictures down there. And where do we go? Okay. Few people congratulating Nadia on first place, and to Viji and to Meg and whatever. So lots of congratulations kicking about, and then lots of Happy New Years and congratulations to everybody. So yes, so I will see you all next year. So if you, one last thing, if you've enjoyed these podcasts for the past year, you found them entertaining, useful, informative, whatever, then buymeacoffee.com/Ayres is one of the ways you can show a little bit of appreciation. So yes, next year then, so get your images into me by Friday the 3rd. I think it's the 3rd. Yes. Is it the 5th or the 4th next week? It's the 5th, yes. So the podcast is on the 5th. So Friday the 3rd, try and get your images into me by Friday or before. Maybe the Saturday, but earlier in the Saturday if necessary. But this isn't one where I'm expecting you to go out and take a fresh photo. This is one where you can go and raid your archives, find your image, zap it off to me as soon as you can, and then I can start compiling these all ready for next week. And hopefully by next week I might feel slightly more stable about the computer. We'll need to see. I feel hugely relieved that it's lasted this long. Right, so I think that's us. Thank you ever so much to all of you. Wishing you a very happy new year, and hope it's all a good one for you. Take care. Bye-bye.